Do you remember hearing Born to Die for the first time or getting turned on to it, any of that stuff?
I don't remember the very first time like hearing it, but I remember like around the first time. Like
Mhm.
I remember hearing it for the first time and just being like, holy this is like life-changing. Like it was just so different from anything that was out at that time. And I think I want to say I was in going into ninth grade when I heard it for the first time. And it was just like my moody, angsty teenage self. Like I was just like, oh, this is just everything. Like it was just so good.
Yeah. I'm not going to make this all about me, I promise. But my initial exposure to her, I was living in London at the time, and there's a show on British TV called Later with Jules Holland, who's like a famous musician. He's been in a lot of bands and stuff, but he has this show where it's like all live music and everybody's on the same stage, and it just kind of rotates through different performers, whatever. And I can't remember who else was on, but she came on and she's saying video games, and it's just her in this kind of like 60s looking mini dress,
hmm
button up collar, her hair, everything done in that, very Lana Del Rey style, this like really highly stylized. Her alone. And for the most of it, it's just her and a piano. And it's like the style, both of her delivery, of the music, of her look, all of those things. It's just like this combination of like very classic, like old Hollywood, but also so modern and so new.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, who the is this? Like, what is going on?
Yeah. It was like, I remember seeing that video for the first time and just seeing her and yeah, like her style and everything just was so perfectly crafted and lined up perfectly. And it was just so for that era too, like Tumblr was so big and
Mm.
that like old Hollywood, moody, angsty, like I don't know, that was just such the thing at the time.
Mhm.
And that was just yeah, it was like yeah, I had the same reaction, like who is this?
Yeah. And just instantly like defining a new era in culture.
Yeah,
Like there are these big recognizable artists who have these like really well-defined stage personas that
hmm
are completely different to who they may be in private, but a lot of times it's something that's like very flashy and feels more removed from a normal person. Like it's, like Gaga, where it's like this,
right.
not something that people would wear out on the street. And
Yeah.
this persona that Lana Del Rey has feels so grounded in like something relatable, like the emotions that she's expressing, the things that she's saying are things that feel like familiar to anyone. They're things that people go through. There are some subjects that are very specific to her, but then taking this kind of normal person and she's so glamorous. It's so like elevated. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like both feels, you feel connected to it, like it's something but also like this thing that's from another planet.
Yeah, and I think another thing too for me, I don't know if a lot of people feel like this, but like that love for old Hollywood and like that, like Audrey Hepburn and Elvis and like these old Hollywood people that obviously aren't around anymore and we weren't there for that. So I think having someone that kind of emulated that same vibe and was like bringing that to like modern day was so interesting because it really felt like we had this like person that wasn't even from this time that kind of just came in and it felt I don't know, for me, like I love old movies. I love old music. Like I love that era in like pop culture and their outfits and the hair and the makeup and the evolution of like all that. So seeing her in the modern day world, but being that was just so like you just kind of got to experience that little glimpse of like old Hollywood, and it was just so cool. And it felt like, I don't know, for me, I was like, oh my God, like this is it. Like this is what it was like. It's so cool.
Yeah, and definitely like, growing up seeing like Marilyn Monroe or James Dean or something where
Hmm.
these iconic people who I've felt a connection to because of how like incredible their cultural impact was.
Yeah.
But also this kind of like it's nostalgia for something that I wasn't a part of, but it's also this real sadness that's like, I've talked about this before, like when famous people die who you have some kind of affection for, it's this weird kind of grief. And it's even
Hmm.
weirder when it's people who you love who died before you were born, that it's
Right.
like you're very separated from them. And to me, she brought that kind of the same kind of like nostalgic sadness into
Yeah.
reality, and it's like something being pulled out of the past and dropped in front of you, and then there's like modern beats, and the production has
Yeah.
flavor of like the contemporary. um
Yeah.
yeah, really fascinating.
Yeah.
um
Amazing.
but then there's also the music, which is again so specific, and the way she sings, the way she phrases things, the way she stands when she's performing, everything is like so carefully presented.
Hmm.
Um, and like, do you, was that a part of it? Like when you started seeing what she looked like and seeing her performing, did that resonate with you as much as the music?
Yeah, definitely. She's just so interesting. And she said this thing once about performing. She said I don't want to quote her exactly, but she said something like, I'm not a performer, I'm just an artist. And I think that for me was such like an interesting thing to hear. Being an artist, it's like you're kind of put out into this like world, and um you're kind of immediately expected to be the best performer and have it all figured out on stage. And being on stage is a really foreign feeling. Like, no one's born on a stage and you just like know what to do. I mean, some people do, but I didn't. Like, I did not. I was really, really sorry. There's so many sirens right now. Um,
I live in New
but
York.
I was,
Yeah, story of my life.
yeah, always. But I was really like stage fright when I first started doing this, and it was not a very familiar thing. Like, I didn't know how to move my body. I didn't know how to kind of like lose myself in the music when I'd be on stage because there's so many people looking at you. It's like I don't want to be embarrassing or like look stupid or whatever. So when she said that, and then I watched her on stage, and just knowing that's how she felt, and I still watched her, and like what you're saying, her movements and the way she just is so captivating, and she doesn't really have to do a lot. It was like, I don't know, it gave me some relief in the way I even perform and the way I feel uncomfortable. And like, I'm not a natural performer, I'm an artist. Like, I love to write, I love to do the things behind the scenes, but getting in front of people is what's really scary to me. So that was like a thing that really stuck with me, and I still think about. And it's, yeah, her performances and the way she just doesn't even have to do, she could just stand there, and it's so like captivating because it really is about just the presentation. It's not even about anything else, and that's really, it's cool how she could do that.
Yeah, and like you're saying, when you make and perform music, there are so many different skills that come into it, and some of them, some people just feel really comfortable with every aspect of it. And
Right.
some people, it's like, I love making music, like you said, being on stage is like, oh, especially
Yeah.
the bigger the crowds, all of that stuff. Like lots of people, people like Adele, who has terrible, terrible stage fright. Um, and one of the things that I felt like that, uh, uncertainty about being on stage fit the music so well. And that like initial performance that I saw of video games, it's like she's so vulnerable, and she just
Yeah.
looks like you know, she is unsure if that is where she wants to be while she's performing. But the music had that same kind of vulnerability, and the emotional content of what she's saying and the melodies and whatever, it all just fits so well.
Yeah.
Did you see when she was on SNL right around,
Yeah.
you know, that whole thing that was so, people were so cruel to her. And around the time that she first came into the public consciousness, there was a lot of thrown at her for like not having perfect live performances and just the Lana Del Rey persona, and people saying that she was fake or that it's this like cultivated thing. And it's like, yeah, and it's brilliant. Like it is genius. And the comparison to Lady Gaga, it's like, she is not born Lady Gaga. That is a persona that she has developed over time. And it's part of the performance. It's part of her art. And it's the same thing. Like the name Lana Del Rey evokes exactly who she is, the kind of music that she's making. And it's like such smart character development. And, you know, it's always a little unclear how much of it is her and how much of it is something that she's developed for the stage, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's so good. And even that SNL performance, like it adds to even what I'm saying. Like she's not a performer, she's just an artist. And I feel like being a performer, it's so scary, especially to do like SNL. Like I can't even imagine how insanely scary that is. At the beginning of her career, that was, I mean, obviously she was Lizzie Grant before, but being Lana Del Rey, your first album pops off in the way it did, and to be put on SNL, and I just can't even imagine how scary that is. And the criticism around it, like my first ever performance, I did a festival in front of like, it was like insane. It was like 90,000 people or something like that. It was like insane. And that was my song just popped off, and immediately they're like, you're going to go perform at this festival in front of all these people. And that's just what it is. And I'm not a natural performer. I had never sang with in-ears before. Like this was my first thing, and I sounded horrible. And it was just like getting the criticism for that was so hard, because I was like, I don't know. Like I make music. Like I don't know how to get in front of all these people, and you're worried about looking good, you're worried about sounding good, you're worried about even just getting the lyrics right. Like you're so nervous. So even that video, I feel like it really added actually to her. Like it made everything make sense. And it's like, yeah, she's not this insane performer, she's just an insane artist. And it just humanized her to me a lot.
And just giving people the space to grow as performers when this was something that was still developing. She has obviously grown so much throughout her career and is infinitely more confident now. But the idea of like saying to someone, and part of it was because of all these people, like, you know, talking about her appearance and about maybe playing a character and if that's authentic or not, and blah, 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 all of this like really boring conjecture. But then wanting her to fail and saying, let's see what she can do. Live performance, maybe she's going to up. And then when something isn't perfect, being able to jump on that and say, we knew it. See, she's fake. Yeah. You know, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that live performance means it's live. And doing that on national television, on like one of the biggest platforms for you know, any musician, but especially for a musician at the beginning of their career, how much pressure to, you know, give the performance of a lifetime when there are all of these variables. There's so many things that can go wrong. And it really does take like a specific kind of magic for everything to go perfectly in that kind of environment. Yeah. The whole album campaign as well, like starting out from that kind of Tumblr universe and the video for video games being this kind of, you know, old movie clips and things in LA and whatever that felt very like, you know, homemade, like very simple thing. And then moving into the other videos on the album that are like have like real budgets and are so like a fully realized version of what she was trying to do. Seeing that transition in such a short period of time because of how much attention she was getting was really cool. And just the way that all of that stuff, like I said, has developed through her career is pretty amazing too.
Yeah, I think that transition was really cool to see too, because yeah, like you said, it was literally like her vision coming to life. Video games was such like a homemade video. Also started the movement of adding photo booth into music and using that as a promotional thing, which I don't really think we saw as much of before that. I mean, we definitely saw it. Like, I remember the Justin Bieber Call Me Maybe, like all that stuff was huge. But I think that around that time, it was just so Tumblr. Like, it was so homemade. It was anyone could do it. And then to see her put that vision into a high budgeted music video was just so cool. But it just, yeah, I think that like she just really, I don't know, that whole era, she just really redefined like music and videos and monologues also. Like her monologues in those videos, like still to this day, like I've been watching on TikTok, so many people have been posting her monologues and putting it behind these like sad videos, and I'm just like liking all of them, so now I'm getting all of them. But like even that is such a like a staple piece in what she's done. Like I feel like hearing those, and I don't know, she's just such like a poet and a writer, and it's just really cool and interesting. It's just a story. It's just such, it's all like wrapped up perfectly, and it really is like everything just lines up to her brand so well. And I don't know, I really, it's just interesting. I feel like she really created like a whole new world for artists and a completely new genre of music.
Yeah. And, you know, like I've said, like bridging these two worlds, like the old and the new combining. And I was looking at some videos and stuff, and just seeing the cover of the Born to Die single that's like her looking very like, you know, old Hollywood glamour with this guy who's like very 21st century, you know, covered in tattoos, has whatever. And that kind of contrast, it's like a perfect depiction of the merging of those two things, and like almost forming a new genre. It's like, yeah, a completely different sound. There were, you know, artists like Amy Winehouse or whatever who had kind of, you know, 60s influences in her music and stuff, but it was still a completely different kind of fusion of the past and the present. But yeah, it was so smart, and obviously she's done okay with it.
And I think also like it being in the Tumblr era was so, because it was like during the like American Apparel, American Flag, motorcycle, like that whole era of Tumblr was so huge at that time. I mean, same with Halsey. She was huge during that time too. And it was that angsty, dirty America, like it was that whole thing. And she just emulated it so well. And it was just so aesthetic. Like everything about it was so aesthetic, and it just all felt so true and on brand. And I think during that Tumblr era, I mean, if you look back during that time, like all the artists that were huge during that time, like the alternative scene was that. And then she came and did it in such a, I don't know, like a cool girl way. Like we had just that cool Tumblr girl. And it was so good. To be there during that time was just like, and you could feel the change that she was making.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, at the time, part of the criticism was that it was like this one perception was a kind of trad wife, like, you know, old school version of femininity that was, you know, people said it's like anti-feminist, that she's like longing for an era when women had fewer rights and whatever, which I think is like a stretch. But her response was like, essentially, the definition of feminism is that women can be whoever they want to be. And it's about defining your own version of what it means to be a woman that fits who you are. And that this is like, not just saying this is who I am and this is, you know, take me or leave me, but cultivating this version of herself and saying, this is who I want to be. I have made this happen. And it wasn't anything about like knocking other women down or subscribing to like this, old school version of what a woman should be that was really damaging. It's like taking imagery from the
Mm.
past and, like I said, updating it and turning it into something that felt fresh and new and fit in the modern world, which again is like so smart.
Yeah. No, she definitely the like yearning and longing for love. And I think in every music video it was so different too, because we had like National Anthem and
Mm.
then we had Ride, and it was like completely two different, just two different vibes. But I think overall it was just that like yearning of like feeling like you wanted to be in love and you wanted to belong somewhere and you wanted to belong to someone. And I think, well, for me, I was like 14. So I was like, I want to be in love. Like I want, and she's also my Cancer queen. So I'm a
Mm.
Cancer too. So that is just who we are. I think we just like really yearn really hard.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know. I never got she got so much hate for that, but for me, I never looked at it as the trad wife thing. It just seemed like a girl who wanted love. And like whether that was in this like classy president's wife way, or if it
Mhm.
was with this older tatted up guy riding on the back of his motorcycle, it was just that feeling of wanting to feel like she belonged and wanting the freedom. And yeah, and also not being stuck to one thing. Like it was different in every video. It was like she just wanted the feeling of belonging. And I feel like that is so relatable to it was to me, and still now being a grown up. But at 14 too, saying that, and it was like, I don't know what I want in my future, but I also have this feeling of not feeling like I really belong anywhere, and the yearning to be free and have love and just to be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a message and an image that obviously meant a lot to a lot of people. Like this was a very successful album
Yeah.
and
Same.
continues to be. Like what I can't remember what chart this is from, but I think it's the Billboard charts. This is the second album to be in the Billboard chart for more than 500 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I saw
Henry
that.
was the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of staying power shows that, she was onto something. She was making something that people really felt connected to. And all of that criticism, so many people saying things about the music or saying it's not sophisticated enough or blah, 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 blah. And all of the reviews where it's like people looking back at their review, retroactively wanting to kind of think about bad reviews that they've given to big albums. And they're all just like, we were really wrong. Like this is,
Yeah.
obviously was the beginning of something incredible.
Yeah, I think it was just so different at that time. Like no one was doing that. And I think that when you're kind of the beginning of something new, it doesn't always click for people immediately. Like some people just didn't get it. And I feel like it's kind of a similar thing with like Billy. Like I think when Billy first came in, it was really different, and it kind of felt a little bit like the Lana Del Rey thing. Like it was
Mm.
so different. There wasn't heavy beats or instruments in the beginning. Like it really was powered by her voice. And I think it was just such a shift from what we had been hearing in terms of like pop stars. Like it was a completely different type of pop star. And I think with Lana, it was just such a different type of pop star that we didn't, I knew, but a lot of people didn't know how to receive it like in the
Mm.
beginning. And it just felt so different. Yeah, she wasn't polished. She was just the character. And whether that was herself or Lana Del Rey, like she was just so true to that character. And
Okay.
I think that it wasn't the perfect pop star at that
Mhm.
time. And looking back on it, it's just so, I don't know, she just crafted it so well. And the character Lana Del Rey, the music videos, the hair, the outfits, like everything she said, the performances, like it really was just such a pivotal moment in music, and how we can have these characters. And like I don't know, it just was so, it was just so good. It was just so good.
Yeah, and she was just treated by a lot of people like this is a passing fad. This is like
Yeah.
a moment in time, and this isn't going to last.
Hmm.
And she has she's defied my expectations of
Yeah.
how long and successful her career could be. And she's one of
Oh
the
my God,
biggest
yeah.
artists in the world. And that's like
Yeah.
mind blowing to me.
Well, she's so also like her fan base is just so strong. She has created such a diehard fan base because she's always stayed so true to herself. And I think that that's like such an interesting thing, even throughout all this time. Like, she's changed vibes. Like, she hasn't stayed super true to like the 60s thing. She's kind of like gone into different things, but she's always stayed so true to herself. And I think like she's so unapologetically her, and she can put out literally anything and people are going to ride for her. And like, I know I do. Like, I don't care what she puts out. Like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to go to her shows. Like, I'm still, she's going to be my favorite artist. So I think it's just, she stayed so true to herself, and she hasn't really conformed to what you might think she would, or just like the pop star. Like, she doesn't care about top hits. She doesn't care about doing any of that. Like, she's just herself. And I think that's also what makes her so cool and has made her had such longevity, is just being true to herself. And she doesn't take every interview, and she's married to an alligator guy now that she met on an alligator tour, and she's at Waffle House, and like, she's just so human and so interesting, and she just feels so real. Like, she's just, I don't know, I just love it, because I'm like, yeah, like, why can't you get married to a guy you met on an alligator tour in Louisiana? Like, yeah, you can do anything you want. And I think it's just like, she's just stayed so herself, and she's just such a refreshing artist to have. I don't know. She's just amazing.
Truly. Yeah. I think marrying an alligator man is the perfect note to finish on. This has been so much fun.
Like, it's just so good. And now I saw her at Coachella, and now she's doing a country album, and
Yeah.
she's like out at the bayou, and her set design, it's just like, it's so different from what she started as, but somehow it's still so her and like similar. Like, it's weird, but it just works. It's just Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible.
Amazing.
This has been so much fun. I love being able to talk about stuff that I love, and I love this album.
Same.
I appreciate you bringing it to me, and I appreciate making time for me.
Of course. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, do you want more conversations with incredible people talking about the movies and music they love? Then subscribe to the Spark Parade YouTube channel.